leave executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have no presentations today and apparently no announcements today. Does anyone have any announcements that I'm missing? That on your ends, any events coming up? Okay. So discussion item, the first item we have is just to discuss is the format and generally touching upon the schedule for next year's town board meeting. So we've talked, some of us individually, and I wanted to make sure we talk about it, as a group, about the possibility of changing the format of the meetings, because what we run into with the 2 meetings per month is we are forced to vote at workshop meetings because of just time passing and things being time sensitive. And then we're basically breaking the rules and there's no public comment for the public to say something about what we're going to vote on that day that maybe the first time it showed up. So what I was thinking might work to try to adapt it is we basically make every meeting a regular meeting where you can vote. We have public comment. We bump the police commission, which generally has never been more than a half hour, to a half-hour meeting every other meeting like we have right now. And then we have a workshop section and a voting section of each meeting so that there are things being workshopped that we might then vote on the next meeting. And there's also, then we move on to the voting portion of the meeting for things that have been workshopped or things that are just minor or time sensitive. And then we'll be starting that at 7:30 every time we have a meeting, so that would account for the additional public comment time on those other weeks. And I think it would just, sort of make it so we're not breaking our own rules all the time with these votes without having to add a whole other set of meetings to the calendar. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, and we have to adapt.
So we're going to have public comment in every meeting?
It will be public comment at every meeting. It's the only way you could really do it because it'd be scheduled as a voting meeting. And
If you're gonna do,
2 meetings per month.
you're
And
gonna have the workshop first.
so you would do so let's say we have one day it'll just be like it is normally for a regular meeting. Starts at 7:30, boom, boom, boom. But other days we would start at 7, do a police commission for a half hour, and then 7:30. But then we would do workshop at the first half of the meeting, and then move on to the regular
There's
voting part.
public comment.
We could do it wherever we want. We could do it after the workshop, we could do it before the workshop.
To me, I would think it'd be better after the workshop.
After the workshop.
So you can actually workshop something instead of listening to, I won't say, nothing good for change, but it's a thing we're listening some nights where it goes on and on and on, and then we get to the first item, all those people leave.
Right, yeah.
So their interest at times in town government is like zero. It's more interested in their TV time.
I think it makes sense to do it, I would, because
So
if we're not going to vote on the
public
workshop
comment
items.
can be on anything or on the workshop items that we're going to vote on that night?
Legally, they can comment on anything. Someone can get up here
Okay.
and read the phone book
So
if they want
I
to.
hear what Dennis is saying, that makes sense to me.
That way there's, everyone knows it's being workshopped, these aren't being voted on tonight, and then we do that stuff we talk about, do a public comment, then do the voting stuff.
And you could say, they've heard us talk about the workshop, they can even comment on those things.
The things that exactly, it gives them the opportunity to talk about the stuff we just
Democracy
workshop.
at its best.
Yeah. Okay, so then what we want to do is, this is what we just have up here is just a kind of a sketched out concept for when meetings might be. One thing we might want to do though, if we're going to have voting at each one, is try to make there be a gap in between each one and not do 2 in a row, so there's more evenly spaced, except for when there's holidays interceding. So like we wouldn't want to have exactly 1 week apart, try to make it every other week. So because if they're the same meeting now, we're not workshopping something and then the next week doing it,
That's fine.
Which, at my age, that puts a method to the madness. Because
You organize the concepts.
This schedule that we've had the last 2 years, what are we on? Are we on a workshop? Are we on a meeting?
It's confusing for everyone, honestly.
It is, definitely, even for yourself, that's good.
I get confused. And I'm pretty smart, right? I mean, my wife tells me I'm smart.
Right, I was
Yeah.
gonna mention for the audit, it might be helpful, actually,
That's true.
Yes, you're right, and it's holding up our vouchers and stuff like that, yeah. So I think, and it's only the same number of meetings in the end, and the extra half hour should account for the comments in those.
right, and just so you know, I mean, I know you're saying about breaking the rules, but really, a meeting is a meeting.
A meeting's a
and
meeting, yeah, but we
so-
set these parameters, though.
Right,
you
the
know?
town has, over time, a workshop is supposed to be a workshop where, you know, you're just kind of discussing things and not voting, and that's kind of evolved into, well, maybe we'll vote on these 3 or 4 things, and
But they're
so.
all
Yeah.
noticed meetings, so we could.
Right, so
Legally,
they're
we could vote
appropriate.
on everything. yeah.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
but it's just like, is it right? And is it right to vote on something that's never had a chance for the public to comment if they want to? This would give them a chance to do it after the workshop portion, or before its voting portion, or, you know, if we bump it up to the next meeting. So, all right, so what we'll do is I'll work with the clerk and see about rejiggering the schedule a bit. If you guys could just send me any dates that you can't, like an anniversary or whatever, that you don't want to have a meeting scheduled on. Are we still good with Tuesday nights? Is everyone happy with Tuesday nights? Okay. Okay. Very good. And it will increase the ability for the public to talk, which I think is good for the public, to have that input. Still 3 minutes per.
Except for Rustin.
Okay, so moving on to the agenda items, we have a series of public hearings that were continued from our little mini meeting we had on the 8th to comply with the legal requirements related to the budget. So is there a motion to continue the public hearing for the Orangetown Library Districts?
So moved.
Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here to comment on the Orangetown Public Library hearing?
Move to close.
All right, we have a motion to close from Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a motion to determine secret lead agency, et cetera, neg deck for this particular budget portion. Is there a motion? Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine. This is about setting the library district budgets specifically.
It's only for the one.
Yeah, it's for the South Orangetown libraries. And then we had the motion to actually approve the one-year contract for library services with all the various libraries on this half of town. All in favor on 3, and we have unanimous. Motion on number 4 to actually approve the contract. Councilman Valentine, second from Councilman Troy, all in favor.
Aye.
This was all in the budget line item. This is,
Yeah.
it'll be
right.
filled in as per the budget. you know.
But they were all the figures were discussed
It's
prior,
visible in the backup for the agenda.
unless Jeff changed some.
Jeff added a nice bonus for the finance director. You tried. All right, do we have a motion to to continue the public hearing for the Blauvelt Volunteer Fire Company? Councilman Valentine, second from Councilman Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, is there anyone here to talk about the Blauvelt Fire District? No?
Move to close.
Sure. Motion to close from Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll move the neg deck. Is there a second?
Second.
Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the contract for 2019 for the Blauvelt Fire Company? Councilman
make a motion.
Valentine, second from Councilman Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now we are on, is it 8:05 yet? Because we can't do it before 8:05.
Yep.
All right, 8:09, good. I move to continue the public hearing for the preliminary budget. Is there a second?
Yes.
Councilman Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
You will see on your agenda a series of proposed adjustments to the 2019 preliminary budget as was proposed by myself and then continued as such by the council. Is there anyone here to comment during the public hearing on the budget for 2019? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the budget. Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have these following, adopt and approve with the following adjustments. Jeff, can you just verify as you look at them, please, that they are as you last looked at them and nothing got dropped? And also, I guess we'll touch on the high points.
Sure. Those are all correct. The total impact of the changes is to increase the expenses, $160,655. I would like to remind the board that the supervisor's initial budget called for a minus 0.43% reduction in taxes. This will now change it to a minus 0.12, so there's about a $60,000 decrease in the taxes collected year over year. In terms of the major changes in here. There's a couple changes. In the B.16, which is the police fund, because of the pay raises, was getting a little bit short. And so there is a change in the interfund charges for that of $486,000. That is offset by the $486,000 in the B.17 fund. They're both the same town outside village, but it's just a redistribution there to make sure that we're good in the fund balance and we don't run too low. Other than that, that's the major one. And are there any questions on the budget changes that are proposed here?
The other change was in the highway department, worked out with Jim Dean, a solution for everyone, I think, in terms of headcount reductions there, so.
Good.
All right, is there a motion to adopt with adjustments? Councilman Valentine, second, Councilman Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Okay, we have another public hearing. This one, however, is at 8:15, and we have 3 more minutes before 8:15, so we can't legally start that yet. So let's move forward to number 18 on your agenda. We have a few voting resolutions here. These are all time sensitive. 18 is to approve the purchase of one large format scanner and a yearly service agreement, which we discussed previously was funded by grant money. Is there a motion? Councilman Troy, second Councilman Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 19, approve a settlement from Geico regarding an accident with a police vehicle. Is there a motion? Councilman Valentine, second Councilman Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Create senior clerk. We are receiving money on that one. That's a change of pace. I like it.
To our car.
All right. That is good. Resolution to create senior clerk typist position, grade 5 in the police records department. This was just a sort of recategorization of a position. Moved by Councilman Troy, seconded by Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to reclassify principal clerk, administrative secretary 1, to administrative secretary 1 in police administration. Motion by Councilman Valentine, second from Councilman Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to appoint Marion Salmi to that same position at grade 12, step 6/7. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And resolution to rescind resolution number 594. Are we rescinding this and putting a new one, or are we amending the resolution? How are we doing? Is this,
Is it Jimmy?
no, this is
This is sewer.
sewer.
Sewer, okay.
Shouldn't be to amend it.
we're really amending the previous one. We could change that language just
Okay, to amend resolution number 594 and then change it. The pricing was different from what we passed, but it's the best price they can get.
Right.
All right, is there a motion to amend said resolution?
So,
Councilman Troy, second Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I think okay, we got a couple more. We're getting rid of the Bloomberg helipad. It was an enthralling presentation that we received. But unfortunately, they decided not to move forward with the project. Fortunately, that has no impact upon the town whatsoever beyond not having to have this public hearing. So is there a motion to rescind the resolution 622, which set the public hearing and thereby cancel it? It had been scheduled for the 27th.
so
Aye.
Councilman Troy, Valentine with the motion, Troy with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we're now at 8:15, so we'll go back to item number 12 on page 7. This is the public hearing regarding the traffic flow adjustment in front of the Pearl River train station. I move that we open the public hearing. Is there a second?
yes, sir.
Councilman Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so just so you're all tracking, we have been in touch with New Jersey Transit. We've been in touch with the DOT. Jim and I have to meet with the DOT on site about the crossing and the traffic flow. The road crosses New Jersey Transit property. It's not actually a dedicated road, though we have been maintaining it as such. So we're going to have to continue this to finish getting the input from NJT on the traffic flow adjustment and thereby the one-way with the taxi stands, that part of it. We can't make a
That's
decision
one-way
today. Out towards Central.
North to south?
Yeah, no, you'll be going north from, is the one-way, exiting onto Central Avenue only.
South to north.
Yeah, south to north one-way is what's proposed right now.
Is there anybody to speak on it?
I don't see anyone to speak. Is there anyone that's here to speak on this particular public hearing? Because we can still hear the comment, it's just we can't vote tonight. Thank you.
I know, Jimmy, you looked at this years ago.
Yes.
So-
Yeah. We've done a lot of work on it, it's just we're waiting on the final pieces from New Jersey Transit. We're going to continue it kind of far out to make sure we don't have to do this a couple times. We're going to do it until to December.
One of the things there, that road is used as a cutoff for the
Exactly.
light, you know,
So one thing we're looking
going
at,
from Central Avenue down towards the train station, so that eliminates that, which is a good thing.
well, yeah, exactly, because people cut through and they
They
speed
cut
through.
through and then come out where the post office is.
Yeah,
But it doesn't eliminate it the other way.
No,
No.
you still have the same nonsense, but it's a tougher turn coming out of there.
it is.
I don't
We
know
were-
if it makes it faster or not.
We were talking about doing a right turn only lane going north on Central around Bronsdorf, where the
Yeah.
police station is, the police, not station, booth. As part of this, we'll probably present that so that we make sure we get everything reviewed at one package. I think that would increase the ability to get any backup that might occur across the tracks there without the outlet. It creates an outlet. People, you do it anyway. They do the right turn. They line up like there's a right turn lane anyway.
I think the problem with that, though, is you have the light right there. You can back that up pretty quick.
Well, that's the idea of the right turn lane, is to create a valve so people can go right and get through the light.
Still go straight or left.
You can still go straight or left, yeah. You just would create a separate lane for people to be able to stack up better at the light instead of stretching out. Yeah. Anyway, no one here to comment on this? Okay. We have to continue it. So we'll move to continue it. This will be December 11th at 8 p.m. to make sure we get the comments in. Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have a resolution to open the public hearing, which we can't do yet because it's not 8:25 p.m. So moving back in your agendas to where we left off, which I wish I had marked. What were we? 26. We are now in the workshop portion of the workshop meeting. 25. So at the next meeting on the 27th, we'll be having a public hearing regarding changes to the noise code, which you can see the final version of which is sitting on your spots here, or the final two for the hearing, I should say, because we can always make changes. As this has been circulated, or is being circulated as
Yeah, it's been circulated and.
Sent the emails.
Right, the final version's been, not the final version, as you say, the
the
version
final
for
draft version, if
review,
you will.
correct,
yeah.
has been sent around.
Okay. And then we have the closing of that public hearing, and then the seeker for that public hearing, and then the actual vote, motion to adopt for that, assuming we want to. Then we have, OMM has done some improvements to the turf fields at the soccer complex. We'll be accepting that as a gift per their use agreement. Then we are accepting the resignation of Joseph Jukic at the next meeting, and then we'll be appointing someone. And
Sean
it will
Walsh.
be Sean Walsh.
Yeah, it will be Sean
Okay,
Walsh,
we left
yeah.
him off because we didn't want to
Yeah,
put his
no, I
name on
spoke
if
to
it
him
wasn't
today.
100%.
I wanted to make sure.
Okay, so we'll get that filled back in, make Sean Walsh to a point for the Housing Authority.
And we thank Joe Jusick for his service.
Jusick, sorry, I mispronounced his name there. It's phonetic. The next one is, we've been doing a lot of weddings on site here, and it's taking some time away from other duties, but if we can put in a nominal fee for use of facilities, when we do that, I think it makes sense. Other places charge between $25 and $100, so we're charging 50 is the concept for a wedding ceremony on site here. Then Gold Cap Consulting, this has been some of the departments in working with him wanted to use him for things that didn't result in cost savings as a consultant, so we would be creating a little cap on what they could do that for say like the, Stefan wanted to use him to renegotiate some of the traffic light servicing, so gives us a little cushion there. Memorializing resolution for ending recruitment of youth smokers. This was put forward by Power Against Tobacco. They're asking municipalities to support it. We adopted it slightly to ask New York State to do these things, and then we'll be sending that to our representatives. Clerk, we receive and file a useless bond for planning board item number 1751. And then accept, receive, and file documents at the town clerk's office. Then a hold harmless indemnification for 66 of Blondie. They have something in the right of way, apparently. 38, we have a accept and receive right of way dedication and deed of easement for the Walgreens in Tapan. It's just now happening. That was like built 3-4 years ago. It's crazy. All right. Hey. And then authorizing release of performance bond. It's not a want of their money. Then authorize memorandum of understanding with Rockland County Shared Services regarding the sending a police detective to the Regional Investigative Resource Center from January. Then a pilot in Nyack for TZ Vista. This is the one that is related specifically to the RCC Culinary Institute. Question? No, I don't think it is, right? It's a back approval. Yeah. Sorry, good question. This is the one they're getting a pilot because one of their tenants will be in RCC, and that way they can get the Culinary Institute in there. So it's a partial pilot with important in there. It's been approved already by the village and the school district. And important is that they have to keep maintaining that nonprofit educational use in order to maintain the pilot. They can't just kick them out as a tenant and then bring in some fancy restaurant and keep the tax discount. Then tax certiorari settlement, in which case we will refund $22,000 and the school district will refund $115K after a settlement. Then we're going to purchase one more nasal ranger field olfactometer. For the animal control officer. This is a result of some meetings we've had between building and animal control and police and my office to deal with the situations of cat hoarding specifically, where they're running into these odors and stuff like that.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
It's been going on for quite a while. What the residents have to put up with there is unbelievable.
Right, so the intent is that basically he'll be the one out there when he encounters these things. If he's trained and has the equipment to do it, he can then cite them for the odor violation as well as or he can write the supporting deposition for an odor violation as well as deal with the animals. So it's a step in the right direction to help deal with those issues when they pop up. All right, 44, Orangeburg Fire Department Parade, which will be Saturday, December 8th, 2018. Always fun. Goes right past my house. Kids love it. We're going to have some assistance offered for them for the showmobile. And then the approving surplus equipment for highway, some various things. How much does one of these leaf machines go for, Jim? Like, could I afford it at the house or
Yeah, I think it's a little too big for you.
New about 34,000.
used? It's like, I get a discount if I do it, or like 500, right?
Have a big truck to tow it.
Okay. You got a Mason truck, we can do that. All right, and the last one is a stop sign, Washington Street and Spark Hill Avenue. Now, why is it 6 months? Why would it be a 6-month one? Does anyone, as opposed to a full? Is that standard?
If it works.
Just to test it out and see if it
Yeah.
helps? Okay. It's my first one, so. Okay, we have one more minute, so hopefully by turning our pages back to the last public hearing, we'll be able to kill that minute.
Question on 32.
Yes, for the deputy supervisor.
I know when I got married here, it took more than 30 minutes. Just with kids coming in, the ceremony, taking pictures afterwards. So I would say either adjust that or make that people can pay an additional fee for an extra
That's fair.
time.
Per 30 minutes.
Per 30 minutes.
Could we edit that so it's per 30-minute period? That makes sense. Give them the flexibility if they have a big wedding.
We're saying, $25 for an additional 30 minutes.
Right.
So it's not.
That makes sense. Amanda, could you
I would
run
also-
those?
I would also suggest that since most people who are going to get married here are going to come to the town clerk's office to get their marriage license, that they pay a $50 fee to the town clerk.
You'd be surprised, actually. We were going to do that, but I've had a lot of non-Orangetown folks, like probably a good 35-40% have been New York City or Clarkstown, and that's where the licenses come from. So they have to cut here to schedule it with whoever they schedule it with. That's the only time we know we'll catch all of them. It's been surprising. It hasn't been. You'd think it'd be 90% Orangetown clerk, but it's been a big mix. But that was one of the things we were thinking of. Well, we didn't vote on it yet. We're workshopping that one, so.
Workshop.
Yeah, so for the next meeting, we'll incorporate an extension period by, I think that's fair, and $25 per each additional half hour, up to no more than like 3, half-hour periods, or something like that.
Did you wanna go
Town of
on,
Orangetown.
pictures in front of the town hall,
Yeah, right.
crumbling building behind it.
It's a fancy, they go to that one, it looks a little better. All right, so I move that we open the public hearing regarding the amendment to the town code for taxi stands. Is there a second? Councilman Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, has this been published and everything, and?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any input from planning or anything like that? Did we get any letters back? No one's, nothing we have to override?
No.
Okay. So then this is, again, we're modifying local law for taxi stands. This does not place the taxi stands. This just gives us more definition as to what a taxi is, which there already mentioned taxi stands in the town code, but it didn't say what a taxi was or the rules for a taxi stand. It just said that there could be a taxi stand. And if unless you're a taxi, you couldn't be there. But it didn't say what a taxi constituted. It didn't say how long a taxi could be there, how to use it. So the changes are to define a taxi as a vehicle which has a New York State taxi livery or medallion registration and operated by a person possessing the type of licenses you're required to have in order to operate a taxi under New York State law. And then it says how they have to use it. They can't wait for longer than an hour. They have to leave the stand and then line up back at the end again if they don't want to keep staying there. And there should be no fee for the use of the taxi stand by a taxi. And then we get to designate it by resolution where we want to have them.
And the police department's aware of this for enforcement?
Yes, the parking enforcement's been read in on this.
And there's a county law about how long you can idle your car to an existing
Right.
county law, I don't know. about that.
Then this wouldn't affect the idling. We have rules about idling in the code too, but
No,
yeah, you're right.
I know
But
it exists.
it's pretty much ignored, I think,
Yes, I would say
the
so.
idling law.
Does the definition take into account ride-sharing vehicles?
No, this is specifically for taxis. It does not account for Uber or Lyft. And I don't believe we should necessarily account for Uber or Lyft because there's
They
no,
shouldn't be sitting waiting in.
they shouldn't be. It's a taxi stand for the taxis in the end. I mean, the other question would be, do we want to regulate the taxis more? And I say no, because we don't want to put any more restrictions on taxis. But there are taxi rules. It's a defined class of vehicle in New York State. Uber and Lyft are not defined under New York State law. They're just people's cars. And you
county-
throw an Uber sticker on that thing, on a car, and you can suddenly park in a taxi
The
stand.
county really should be maintaining the oversight over all the taxis.
Right,
They're not-
which it
they don't-
hasn't,
They
yeah.
don't do that.
No, there should be a taxi commission at the county level. We don't want to do it at the town level. It would be too much to do. So,
There's larger issues with vehicle and traffic.
right.
With New York State, and Rockland County falls into the classification that both Westchester, Nassau, and Suffolk do, but they would have to act at the county level. They'd have to pass legislation and create a TLC.
Right.
Which they have not to date done. So there's a whole situation with that. But I would just maybe recommend that you do, as part of that taxi stand, maybe create one spot for a ride-sharing vehicle so as not to clog up. Because sometimes you will get ride-sharing that people will get they're coming off the train, they'll request it before the train arrives. So I might just suggest you.
Well, I think having a standing zone might make sense generally, but I have a problem with getting into the business of like what constitutes a ride-sharing business and what constitutes like is Lyft a recognized one? Or there's other companies that fail
Your
pretty
wife
quickly.
gets
You know,
early,
what,
waits.
yeah, what if I call my wife?
They're licensed.
The,
They're licensed.
They're licensed,
I
but
wouldn't do
They're licensed by New York State.
I think if we want to set a pickup zone that they can then use, that might make sense. But we could do that already under the code. But under the taxi law,
there
you know.
was the radical thought they could actually park at a meter
That's- that's-
southbound. Yeah.
Okay, so is there anyone from the public that would like to comment? I don't see anyone actually from the public present at the meeting right now.
There's no public.
Maybe there's someone at home who wants to yell at the TV screen or something.
I
We'll
left
hear
my
them.
phone home, so I can't have SD call.
Yeah. Okay, seeing no comment. Is there anything, thoughts or further comment from the members of the board that are present?
it. No, I'm fine with it.
Move to close.
Okay, motion to close from Councilman Troy. Second from? Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to declare lead agency under secra, not declare lead agency, sorry, to issue a neg deck for secra. Declare lead agency and negative declaration, sorry, it was both in one, I forgot you did that.
So moved.
So moved from Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt the proposed local law regarding creation or the definition of taxi stands in the town of Orangetown. Is there a motion? Councilman Choi beat Councilman Valentine on that one, so get the motion for Councilman Choi, a second from Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I believe that we've made it to the end of the agenda already. We didn't beat a half hour, everyone.
Meeting moves so quickly, do you want to make this a three-member board?
Hey,
You gotta blame it on Jerry and Tom.
I
I
make a
don't-
motion.
no, we love our fellow councilmen. Yeah, so is there anything else we want to talk about before we close? I mean, we already beat 8:30, so we're not trying to break any records here, unfortunately. You slowed us down there, Mr. Lawler. We would have broken a half hour. Okay. All right, seeing no further comment and seeing as how we already did executive session before this, we had a couple of deaths, two people that were, very important for both the town and community. The father of one of our longtime employees, Karen Serafin, passed away over the weekend. And also then Sister Ann Connolly, the former principal of St. Margaret of Antioch School. I don't know, if Dennis, did you know her from being in St.
I knew
Margaret?
Sister Ann Conley. I won't mention how old my children are because that's how old I am. But it's a thing where, from when my daughter started in first grade in St. Margaret's, and she had a hissy fit, Sister Ann came out, put her arm behind her, said, "Come along, my dear," brought her into the school, and everything was great after that. She took care, two of my boys went through St. Margaret's. She used to play stickball with the kids. She was just a hands-on person. She was just a great, great principal. She ran a great school. And when she retired, she kind of retired from there. She ended up going down to some schools in the Bronx, South Bronx. She also was a math teacher near and dear to my heart at Cardinal Hayes High School. She was just somebody who contributed so much to the community. Was just absolutely incredible lady. It's the sisters are running out of people like that. It's just she's quite a loss. She is.
Thank you. Is there any other else to adjourn in honor of today that passed or no?
Who was that? Well, Gustav Horn, the Karen's father, also
Yes,
owned
yeah, Gus, he's-
Nyack Lumber, longtime local businessman, and also hung out in my swim club too.
Oh, all right, there you go.
He didn't do laps. His wife did laps with the.
Okay, so I'm gonna move that we adjourn in memory of Guster Horn and Sister Ann Connolly. Is there a second? Councilman Troy, Councilman Valentine, will both second, and all in favor?
Aye.
And I just want to, before we leave, also congratulate our town clerk, Rosanna Sfragia, on her election to the remainder of the term. Congratulations. We look forward to continuing working with you. All right, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next week, or 2 weeks from now.